Most people think it's impossible to escape North Korea, but two men proved it was possible after their miraculous escape using just 3 key items: a bike tire, a pump, and a backpack. Choo-Yun Lee was a high-ranking North Korean government official who lived in the South Hwanghae province. A couple of days prior to his escape attempt, Lee was surveying land for his government job on the coast along the Yellow Sea. There are landmines and electric fences scattered all throughout the region, preventing North Koreans from trying to escape through the sea. So Lee was trying to mentally record where all the landmines and fences were. Lee told nobody that he was going to try and escape North Korea, not even his family, but he did recruit one of his most physically fit friends to join him on the journey. Lee and his friend drove to the edge of where North Koreans were legally able to access. With their bike tire, pump, and backpacks, they started crawling through the high grass towards the sea. It was a full moon, so if they stood up, they definitely would have been seen by the patrols guarding the land. Lee and his friend agreed that if the friend would lead the way to test for landmines, Lee would be the first to test the electric fence. Thankfully, no landmines went off, and the electric fence wasn't on at the time, as electricity in North Korea is very sparse. So now Lee and his friend were going to have to make a run for it, as the long grass was about to end, and there was still about 100 yards to the sea. It was initially too bright to make the sprint, so they waited for a big cloud to eventually cover the light radiating off the moon. The cloud was finally in place, and they then decided to make a run for it into the sea. Once reaching the water, the goal was to inflate the bike tire with the pump to make floating in the sea much easier. But to their surprise, the pump wasn't working, so they ditched the pump and the tire and made their way out into the Yellow Sea. 2 hours into swimming, the men were getting exhausted. So in order to make themselves lighter, they ditched their backpacks full of food and even stripped off their clothes, leaving just their boxers on in order to be as light as possible. Now 3 to 4 hours into the swim, Lee's friend told him that he couldn't do it anymore, but Lee wasn't going to let him give up. It gets even crazier from here, but there's a lot to the story, so tomorrow I'm posting a video on how they managed to survive, so make sure to follow.